This is Hannibal here with my weekly review of the points I find interesting in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. There's other stuff in here I'm not interested in, tons of other stuff that I don't cover that you guys can order it if you want to know everything. Let's start with the WWE news. It's looking like it's Reigns against Wayne for the WrestleMania Night 2 main event, which be very exciting to both current wrestling fans and lapsed wrestling fans. Raw did a zero point 0.6 rating last week with a nearly 22-minute skit involving Dwayne Johnson and my old buddy Jinder Mahal, who, by the way, I've beaten every time we've wrestled Jinder Mahal. And Jinder basically got beat up by Johnson, and Johnson indicated that maybe he should sit at the head of the table, which is the whole gimmick of Roman Reigns. So we'll see how that plays out. I would love to see The Rock actually beat Roman Reigns personally, but it'd be great to see The Rock coming back and giving wrestling a boost. That Raw was the first Raw of the post Kevin Dunn era. Kevin Dunn 61 was WWE's executive producer and chief global TV distributor, one of the most powerful people in WWE. He had been working for them since 1984, and prior to that, his father had been working with the WWF, and he had been working under his father. So he'd been around a long time. And Meltzer writes that he's worth between 40 and $60 million. So with Vince McMahon gone, he didn't really like taking orders from the new people in charge. So he's decided to retire. Whether he'll show up in AEW, I don't know. I could see that happening. Apparently, WWE's average attendance for 2023 was its best average since 2002. Mind you, they only ran 220 total shows, but including comps, 7,900 per event, which is great for wrestling. That's phenomenal. Cody Rhodes wrestled the most WWE matches for the year at 111, which goes to show you wrestlers are wrestling far less. I don't even know if Roman Reigns wrestled 11 matches. The Rock also announced this week that the XFL and the USFL have merged. The two spring leagues have merged to form the UFL. Johnson lost 60 million for its first season. The XFL always loses a fortune. There's an interview with Terry Funk that John Paz did with Terry Funk on this channel that was saying like the third time that Vince tried to start it. Why you haven't learned from the first two? It's never going to work. So hopefully the new UFL league will be more of a success. Where you can't. It XFL has always been a failure, and I don't think it ever would succeed. I think this combination league is way more likely to succeed. Not having two spring leagues competing against each other is great. Apparently, Trinity Fatu Naomi is going to return to WWE imminently. She had walked out on the company when she was tag team champions, but she is married to, I believe, Jimmy Uso. So obviously new people in charge of WWE, but I wouldn't expect, I don't know if she ever really did get a massive push, but I wouldn't expect someone who's walked out of the company before to get a big push. Charlotte Flair had surgery yesterday to repair a torn ACL, MCL, and meniscus, which could be out for as much as 9 months. Camille from the NWA is likely going to debut in NXT soon. Some attendance notes from the holiday tour. WWE in Houston did 9,378. WWE in Toronto did 8,763. WWE in Las Vegas did 6,480. In LA at the Forum, where they hadn't been since the Hogan era, did 13,847, which was actually more than AEW Full Gear, the pay-per-view, did in that same building. And apparently they only had 8,000 tickets when CM Punk was announced, so obviously CM Punk helped. The January 1st Raw in San Diego had 10,000 paid. Apparently everyone in AEW is under the belief that Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Moné, it appears, even though she's negotiated with WWE, she wants more money than WWE is willing to pay. She's likely going to end up imminently in AEW. They did have a show that had 10,000 people at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island at the end of the year. Now they are listing it as sold out, but if you go on the website for the Nassau Coliseum, it does list that for concerts it can hold 18,511. So if they're listing 10,000 as a sellout, that means over 8,500 seats were blocked off. 10,000 is still a good crowd for AEW. I like AEW, not taking anything away from it. Wrestle Kingdom, the Tokyo Dome, which has held nearly 65,000 for some matches. Remember some with Ric Flair that near that had 27,422 paid. Apparently, Tama Tonga, Haku's son, is saying that he's going to leave New Japan soon. So AEW likes to get those Samoan guys, but of course, so does WWE. So it'll be interesting to see where he winds up. I would love to see if it is The Rock against Roman Reigns um, coming up at WrestleMania. I'd love to see Haku somehow incorporated into that because there's the true head of the table. There's the true King Haku. Someone does not like The Raw. I'm from Canada and I don't follow politics. I'm in the wrestling bubble. So as an entertainer, I like The Rock. I don't follow politics at all. Um, the only reason I like Trump more than Biden is because Trump's a WWE Hall of Famer.